I fucking called it.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. The Chinese government is starting to forcibly remove people from their homes and are snatching people up off the streets who they suspect might have the coronavirus.
That was on NBC, meaning that not saying that they're not unbiased and shit and mainstream media, they still don't show things that aren't true. I mean, these things were happening. These are verified like facts of the story, is what I'm trying to say. Is people are being forcibly removed by the government, screaming, kicking and screaming, put in boxes, not cages, boxes in back of trucks and carted off.
Yeah, a metal box in the back of a pickup truck, snatching people off the street.
Did you hear the audio on that?
Mm-hmm. With the translation and everything.
That's terrifying.
Little kids asking, what is happening? Why are they taking them? And the mother responds that they're sick. So, yeah, 2 episodes. I called that one when I said about governments may use this to crack down on people that they disagree with. And these are people who they suspect might be infected. Not confirmed cases. The video of them ripping the people out of their apartment, they were putting up a hell of a fight.
Yeah.
More of a fight than I would expect a sick and dying person to be able to put up.
Yeah. They're doing surgery with a shotgun here.
They're doing, like, not even strategic nuclear surgery.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this is way out over the like, this is straight out of 1980, the book literally, and the decade 1980s nightmare. Like, this is, we never thought that this.
Are you trying to say 1984? Is that what book you were?
Yeah, I meant 1984, but still, like, I meant the span of the decade, the war games and shit like that.
Did you see the doctor that first leaked that information has died of coronavirus now too?
Yep. He died.
I just saw, while I was waiting on you to get your shit together, the coronavirus has now killed more people than the SARS thing that was going on, what was it, 15, 20 years ago?
Right.
That SARS outbreak, yeah, more people have died of coronavirus than have died of that SARS outbreak now.
Which is, as you, I don't know if you checked from our last episode, coronavirus is just an umbrella, coronavirus is just an umbrella term for things like SARS. So I don't know why they're calling this that. Because it's undeterminate, maybe?
Well,
highly mutative.
Coronavirus is a type of virus. It's not the name of this virus. I don't know if this has a specific name. The coronavirus is what a lot of people are calling it, the Wuhan virus.
Ironically, that's weird. Like, I haven't heard it identified either, like, more specifically than its genus, I think, is what that is.
Right. Yeah, and I think if I understood it correctly, a coronavirus is just a virus that typically affects animals.
Yeah.
And in some cases,
when they do, they're
humans.
devastating. But anyway, they're using this as a method of population control, culture control, martial law.
I mean, the Chinese government is already super shady with their people. Have you heard about their organ harvesting?
That's a urban legend type thing. Shake, 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 shake. My camera's shaking. I was moving my picture.
Yeah, what the hell is your
so it's more
camera mounted
easy
on?
To focus. Yeah. So, but in entirely related news, there has been no reporting on Epstein and fucking Ghislaine Maxwell. Like, or her prosecution. What the fuck's going on there? Nobody's saying anything.
Yeah, this virus has kind of swept that news under the table. Not that it wasn't already swept under the table months prior to this, but
they were looking for something. And forcibly removing. I mean, honestly, this was only. I saw a video of only 2 people. It's not like I saw the video of the whole country being removed. Doesn't matter. One person, a half a person is too many. But yeah.
And I'm sure there's people out there saying, "Oh no, the U.S. government would never do that." All you have to do is point towards the Japanese concentration camps that FDR threw U.S. citizens
The
into.
Tuskegee experiments. Oh my God, the government did that.
There's that too. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
biological warfare on its own people.
Yeah.
Literally for 40 years. Read into that. We're going to get into that eventually at some point.
That would be an interesting one to do. Yeah.
But anyway.
You had news too, didn't you?
Yeah. So this came up in the news this week. And this is horrible. I don't wish this on anybody. And the coach here definitely got the raw end of the stick. But this is fucking hilarious. So after a game, there was a coach that were trying to get these 4 bullies from picking on this other like freshman on the basketball team or some shit. That was the initial reports. I'm not sure. I don't know much more about the story than that. But then what I do know, and they got on video, is the high school basketball team turned on the fucking coach and started beating his ass. This happened in fucking New Jersey. Where the fuck did it happen? Malcolm X Shabazz High School in fucking New Jersey. Now that's awful, but so we had this brain fog episode, and I'm not going to give the whole thing away, but we just talk about like certain topics, and this one was, what would you do in history what's the one thing you would change in history? And one of the things I picked, not going to give any more spoilers than that, because there's more. You should watch it, listen to it. Is go back in time and prevent New Jersey. Just stop New Jersey. If I had done this, guys, this was prophetic. We should figure out a way to go back in time and stop New Jersey. This would happen. I told everybody. We need to stop New Jersey.
How long did you live in New Jersey for? It wasn't
5
long,
weeks.
Right? So 5 weeks of you living in New Jersey turns into months of us shitting on New Jersey.
Oh,
almost every episode.
May it live long. Months. That doesn't seem adequate at all. Fuck. I think we need to always hate New Jersey flag. Stop their reign of just blah.
We shit on New Jersey almost as much as we reference the Dimensions episode.
Oh, yeah. Just the general. New Jersey needs to be, just gone. Like, just the idea stopped. Anyway, but so these kids, they were fighting, which brings us. They probably used a little boxing. They kicked too, but in boxing you can't kick.
Yeah. That brings us to the topic at hand. We are starting a 2-part series on Mike Tyson. Series.
And who's bringing that to them?
That would be us, you and I.
We, the Higher Minds podcast. Yes, that was good. That
Scott
worked.
and or Darby. Darby, not Dabby.
Dabby.
Although Darby dabs.
I've been Dabby before.
You listeners just missed a late 30s-year-old man
do the I'm 40 this year.
You're 40 this year?
I'm 40 this year.
I was thinking you were 38 for some reason.
No.
Turning 39. You're 39, turning 40?
I'll be 40 in November, yeah.
That makes it even worse.
Oh, my God.
You listeners just missed a nearly 40-year-old man do the little high schooler dab, put your face in your elbow thing.
And that, sir, is why they call me Dabby.
See, I was leaning more towards the stoner and things of taking dabs, not doing dabs.
Well, that's racist.
Okay.
That's not racist. That is stonerist, but in this case, that would be correct. Stereotypes come from somewhere. Yes, we are both stereotypical stoners, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, so Mike Tyson, we're going to split this into 2 pieces.
Michael Beauregard Tyson.
First half. I'm pretty sure it wasn't Beauregard.
No, I don't think it was.
Seems like it was Gerald or something.
It's Gerard, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you knew the correct answer.
I did.
Just chose not to do it.
No, because Beauregard sounds more Southern regal. And
except he wasn't Southern or regal. He was from Brooklyn.
We all know that he is a perfect gentleman when given the chance. He sips tea and everything with his pinky up. You
mentioned, it might have been on the last Brain Fog episode, that Tyson was from Ohio. Where the fuck did you get that information?
I don't know. I did say that, and because for a long time I thought he grew up in Cleveland for some reason. Somebody had told me that.
No. He owned a house in Ohio for a little while. And Don King, who managed him for a little while, is from Cleveland. But Mike Tyson's from Brooklyn.
Yeah. I learned that. I learned a lot of things. Actually,
I just like pointing out when you're wrong about things. Makes me feel better about myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, Mike Tyson, born in Brooklyn, New York, June the 30th, 1966. Do you know why Tyson got in his first fight?
I don't. I just want to point out that it makes him 53. Why did he get in his first fight?
A bigger bully kid ripped the head off of one of Tyson's pigeons.
Oh, yeah. You can't rip off heads of pigeons.
How do you catch a pigeon to rip its head off?
I don't know. Shoot it, maybe? Throw a rock at it? Just run after it?
I'm sure as a kid I tried to catch a bird many times. Never once did it, though.
So, wait. Tyson caught a pigeon? Is that what you're saying?
No. Tyson had a pigeon. Or pigeons. Tyson still owns pigeons. I saw an interview with him. It was posted like 6 months ago, saying that he still had like 2,000 pigeons.
Like those homing pigeons, right? Like those World War I message pigeons? Pigeons?
Maybe. Some sort of pigeons.
Anyway.
Yeah, so Tyson grew up in Brooklyn. Single mother.
Tyson was a single mother?
And drug addict. With a single mother.
He was a single mother with a single mother?
He didn't have a father.
He was a mother of a single mother.
That is exactly what I said. By the age of 13, he had been arrested 38 times.
Wow, that's
putting in work.
That's more than 2 a year. Wow, that's actually like 3.
Well, you figure like for the first 2 or 3 years of his life, you're pretty much incapable of getting into trouble.
Except for Mike Tyson, man. He was bad to the bone from the beginning. Devil went down to Brooklyn for that motherfucker.
He was and still is one of the baddest men to ever walk this planet.
Yeah. Except until he met me. Do you see this? That's all I walked away with. I fucking knocked a tattoo on his face.
Do you want to explain what's going on with your face? Because when you and I discussed it, that was before we started the episode.
So my daughter is doing costume makeup, and I asked her to make it look like I got in a fight with Mike Tyson, and so she put a bruise on me and a cut over my eye, and I think it looks pretty good.
I don't know why you're pointing it out to me. I could see it.
I'm looking at it. So
you posted a picture on Facebook, Instagram,
I did, and
imagine.
Twitter. Actually, we're on Twitter. We're pretty active on Twitter now. We're trying to be active.
Yeah, I thought when I saw it on Facebook that you were just using a teenage girl filter to make it look like he got beat up. I didn't know that you had a teenage girl do your makeup like a teenage girl to make it look like he got beat up.
Totally. We did. And it was
So after being arrested 38 times, by the age of 13, Tyson was sent to the Tyrone School for Boys in Johnstown, New York. This is where he began boxing at. He was discovered by Bobby Stewart, a juvenile detention center counselor and
or as
former
Mike Tyson calls him, Bobby Stewart.
Stewart can... I'm glad you're attempting the Tyson voice.
I'm going to be doing it throughout this entire episode because I hope he comes here and punches me.
Whenever one of us has a quote from Tyson, I think you get to read it in Tyson's voice.
Absolutely. That was mine anyway, that way.
Perfect. So whenever I read a quote from him, you can translate it into Tyson's voice.
I could do like a little under voice type of thing with some music in the background.
Stewart considered Tyson to be an outstanding fighter and trained him for a few months before introducing him to Customato.
With who? To whom?
Customato.
Oh.
Customato. His mentor, trainer,
Custom
coach,
Auto?
father figure. Cus, C-U-S, D''A', M-A-T-O. Customato.
Custom auto. Gotcha. Sounds like custom auto.
It does sound like custom auto, but it's custom auto.
Like a car that you have made for you.
Tyson's mother died when he was 16 years old, leaving him in the care of his boxing manager and trainer, Customato, who became his legal guardian.
Customato. Okay.
All right. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Tyson is quoted, quote, "I never saw my mother happy with me.
I never
and
saw
proud
my
of me
mother
for
happy
doing
with me."
something.
What was the last part?
And proud of me for doing something.
Proud of me of doing something.
She only knew me as being a wild kid running the streets.
You only knew me as being a wild kid running the street.
Coming home with new clothes that she knew I didn't pay for.
Coming home with stolen clothes.
I never got a chance to talk to her or know her.
I never I never got a chance to know her or talk to her.
Professionally, it has no effect, but it's crushing emotionally and personally.
Professionally has no effect, but it's crushing emotionally and personally.
As an amateur boxer, Tyson won gold medals at the 1981 and 1982 Junior Olympic Games.
Am I supposed to quote that one?
In 1985,
Oh.
No, that one
Mike
wasn't.
Tyson.
In 1985, Tyson turned pro at the age of 18. In Albany, New York, he defeated Hector Mercedes in a first-round TKO. He had 15 bouts in his first year.
Have you ever seen him fight professionally? Like when he first came out?
This was a couple years before I was born. I was born in 88. This is 1985.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I've gone back and watched the fights, but no, I didn't get to see them when they were happening.
So even today, Mike Tyson, when he first came out, like, if you've ever seen him fight, he is insane. As soon as the bell rings, it's the fucking Tasmanian devil of fucking fist at your face the entire time. It's insane. And that's why he won, because he was just in, like, a little fast, tiny powerhouse of muscle just at your face constantly, relentlessly.
In my opinion, Tyson isn't only the best heavyweight fighter, he's the best boxer ever. For that reason.
Yeah.
A lot of boxers feel each other out for a couple rounds and find a groove and Tyson just, from the time the bell went, he went head down, fist swinging. He was out to destroy people.
Right.
He wasn't a boxer. He was a fucking destroyer.
Like, it didn't look like he had technique, but that in itself was kind of the technique. Like, everybody, you're right. Everybody else was trying to think through it and use good technique and good moves and analyze the other person's movement and counteract that. And that's what professional boxers are trying to do in the ring. Besides him, he was just out to fucking take your head off the entire time. Like, that's all he saw.
If you look at him, though, when he goes on the defensive, he does have great head movement, great footwork. He keeps his hands up. Like,
yeah.
He can actually box. He just didn't need to that often.
Right. No, and yeah, he is. He's very fast. He does actually have great technique, besides not looking like it.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right.
Yeah, 15 bouts in his first year as a professional. How fucking insane is that?
And
he turned professional in March.
And that's another thing about him. Like, he's lasted so long.
That's a fight every 3 weeks.
Right, but the thing is, he swings like he rarely got swung on too. He rarely got a shot to the head, and that's really what takes boxers out. For as long as they do to recover, is getting their bell rung.
Yeah,
and he like that. It
right
didn't happen at all. Like, nobody ever got a shot off on him. Like, it. I mean, of course he did, but not like everybody else, and not like he did to other people.
In his first 28 fights, he won 26 of them by TKO. 16 of those 26, he won by TKO in the first round.
Wow. So he proved that he could get it done, and he could go the distance if he had to get it done.
Right.
Well, the 2 rounds isn't really the distance.
26 out of 28, he won by knockout or TKO.
What were the last 2?
Those would have had to have gone to decision.
Did he won? Right, he was undefeated for years.
Yeah, he was undefeated. Up into 30-something and 0, I think it was. Like 36-0 or some shit like that. His coach, Customato, the guy who helped raise him after his mother died, he died in November of 85.
Oh, wow.
So he only got to see Tyson fight professionally for like 6-7 months.
Wow. That's tough. I didn't know that.
Have you seen the fight with him and Marvis Frazier, Joe Frazier's son?
I don't know. Like, I've seen, I think, all of his fights, but a long time ago. Like, I haven't watched him in a long time.
Yeah. Joe Frazier was a former heavyweight champion. His son, Marvis Frazier, contended for the title at one point. I don't think he ever was heavyweight champion, though. Tyson charged Frazier at the opening bell, like we were just saying. As soon as that bell rang, it was on for Tyson. Hit him with a right hook to the body and then a right uppercut, like that, just back to back like that, and fucking crumpled him in the corner. It is the most satisfying boxing I've ever seen.
He
just accordion. He just like the fucking Twin Towers spell, just into his own fucking.
Oh, is it too soon? Is it? Is it yet? Has it been enough time? All right.
Yeah, that is probably the most satisfying boxing knockout I've ever seen. In November of 1986, November 22nd, so about a year after Customato died, Tyson was given his first title fight against Trevor Berbick for the World Boxing Council Heavyweight Championship, the WBC. Tyson won this by TKO in the second round, and at the age of 20 years, 4 months, and I think it was like 22 days if I remember right, he became the youngest heavyweight champion in history. This still holds today. Nobody has ever won the heavyweight title younger than Mike Tyson has. Tyson defended his title against James Smith on March 7th, 1987, Las Vegas, Nevada. He won that bout by unanimous decision and was awarded the World Boxing Association title, the WBA, making him hold 2 belts at the same time. On August 1st, 1987, he beat Tony Tucker, the International Boxing Federation IBF title, in a 12-round unanimous decision. This made him the first heavyweight to own all 3 major belts, the WBA, the WBC, and the IBF, at the same time. So not only was he the youngest heavyweight champ, he was also the first champ to hold all 3 belts at the same fucking time.
He was good. He's just born with it.
He's a fucking natural.
Yeah. That's what he was made to do.
Do you know what else happened for Tyson in 1987?
What?
Nintendo released Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
You ever play that?
I have.
Yeah? Do you have it?
Mike Tyson is fucking impossible in that game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like, I think people have beat him, but...
Yeah, people have beat him. Yeah.
I can't...
There's some way one of the characters in the background moves or something like that, and whenever that character moves, that's the split-second opportunity you have to knock out Tyson.
Oh.
It's all a timing thing.
Oh, yeah. And learning the patterns and stuff, but... Yeah, I could only get like 3 or 4 levels in. The only character I remember is Glass Joe. I beat him all the time. It was easy. He was fun.
Everybody beats Glass Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 87, Tyson became the youngest heavyweight champion, won all 3 heavyweight title belts, and had a fucking video game made after him. That's a hell of a year.
Did he have a video game made after him before Jordan? Do you know that?
I don't think Jordan was doing anything in 87.
Yeah, he was.
When did Jordan get into the NBA?
Late 80s, I thought.
To the interwebs.
Would that make him like one of the first celebrities with a video game made after him? You would think? I would think. 87's way early.
Among the first athletes, I know there were some baseball games that had, like Joe Montana, football, and shit like that.
Yeah, and who was that running back from the Cowboys? Emmitt Smith.
Emmitt Smith. I was thinking Troy Aikman, but he was a quarterback.
Well, and Troy Aikman, yeah. Well, I don't think he was in Tecmo Bowl.
Oh no, I was wrong. Michael Jordan entered the NBA in 1984.
Okay, so early 80s. Okay.
Those were really like the 2 biggest athletes of the late 80s and 90s. Michael Jordan and Mike Tyson.
They're who I remember. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, those were like the big two in the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
I had read something that like mid-90s Tyson was the highest paid athlete in the world.
Well, I mean, but yeah. If he didn't get it, I guess he could beat it out of you, so it didn't really matter if he got it or not. Do you know what my favorite quote by Tyson is? I think it's a quote by him. It might be just treated, but I don't know.
Go ahead, because I got one too. We'll see if it's the same.
Everybody has a plan until they get hit in the jaw.
Yeah,
punch
that's
in
my
the face or whatever.
Too. Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. I think is what it is.
That's honestly, yeah, that's stupid wisdom. But I mean, it's not. It's experience.
Getting punched in the mouth will fuck up your day.
Yeah. So I mean, and it's wisdom and advice.
Yeah. Larry Holmes. Does that name mean anything to you?
The porn guy? That's Larry Flint.
Larry
Holmes.
I don't know who
Larry
the porn
Flint
guy is. Larry Holmes is the guy that
we got to address. We got to address that. You know who Larry Flint is? He did Hustler?
I know who Larry Flint is.
That's what I was talking about. All right. Sorry. I felt that needed addressed.
Yeah. And then who was the other? John Holmes.
Yeah.
That was another porn guy. So you're just mixing up your porn guys.
Porn guys.
No, Larry Holmes is the guy that retired Muhammad Ali.
Oh, he was a boxer?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Tyson watched the Holmes-Ali fight when he was 14 years old. His manager, Customato, spoke with Ali after the fight over the phone and handed Tyson the phone to speak with Ali. And Tyson is quoted as saying,
"When I get big, I'm going to get them for you."
In January 22nd, 1988, Tyson faced Holmes and whipped the shit out of him. He TKO'd him just before the bell at the end of the first round.
Oh, so he made him feel it. Like he was surgical about it. And then it humiliated him right at the end.
I'm not positive. I think that was Holmes' first loss in his entire career.
Wow.
He was like 38 years old. Tyson was in his 20s. 21, 20, something like that. Fucking peak Tyson.
I mean, yeah. I'd fight 20-year-old me because
in
I
Holmes'
was married.
defense, he had retired like 2 years earlier, though.
What?
He wasn't like in fighting shape. But the opportunity to win all 3 belts off of Tyson and a fat fucking paycheck.
Oh, so he was the belt
got him
holder.
out of retirement.
Larry Holmes at the time was the belt holder.
No. Tyson held the belts. Larry Holmes was fighting for the belts.
Oh, at 38?
At 38.
He chose to fight Tyson after he saw him get all those belts when he was 38 years old. All right, that's a guy who's been hit in the head too much.
Yeah. Ali was there for this fight, and if you watch the fight, you can see Ali lean into Tyson pre-fight, and he reportedly said something like, "Go get him for me" or some shit like that. Like he remembered the conversation he had with Tyson. When Holmes beat him, Ali was coming down with like the beginning stage of Parkinson's.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, so years before. So he was already.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Holmes beat Ali, and Tyson beat Holmes. So mathematically, that means Tyson beat Ali.
that doesn't count. Ali in his prime. I totally think Tyson would have wiped the floor with him, but still,
Ali was definitely the better technical boxer.
Yeah, and he was fast, and
Tyson was just a fucking animal, though.
Yeah, it's like a man fighting a badger, a honey badger. Don't do that. Advice from Higher Minds podcast.
You watched the Spinks fight I told you about, right?
I didn't get to it. No.
So, Tyson v. Spinks, June 27th, 1988. Tyson faced Michael Spinks, not Sphinx, Spinks. Tyson became the lineal champion when he knocked out Michael Spinks in 91 seconds into the first round. Prior to the fight...
Sphinx, not Spinks. Did you know that we did an episode on that a while
Sphinx,
ago? Just so you know.
Sphinx.
Go watch it. Or go listen to it. Sphinx, not Spinks. Anyway, back to you, Scott.
So Tyson knocked out Spinks in 91 seconds into the first round. Prior to this fight, Spinks' team complained that they weren't there to witness Tyson getting his hands wrapped before the fight, and that there was a bump in his wrapping, I believe, on his left hand. They demanded that he get his hands rewrapped just minutes before the fight was set to start.
So he would want to kill this motherfucker.
This was this was intended to throw Tyson off his game. Also, they had a legitimate claim to being there to wrap the hands. I guess that's a normal thing in title bouts. The other opposing guy's team gets to watch the hand wrapping. Make sure
so it
hidden in there.
It could have been true. It could have been trolling.
It could have gone either way.
I don't think Tyson needs...
What Spinks' team had in mind at the time, I don't know.
I don't think Tyson needs to wrap anything. I think he's fine without getting metal on his knuckles or something. Whatever it was.
Yeah, I would think so. That left hook he had was fucking devastating, no matter what.
I mean, his hands are made of wood, so, I mean, he's fine.
Yeah, he's all pumped up, ready to go. Gonna start this fight in a few minutes.
I mean,
and they come in and tell him he has to get his hands rewrapped, right? Thinking this would throw Tyson off his game, get into his head a little bit. It backfired hugely, though, because all it did was piss Tyson off. He reportedly punched a hole clean through a wall out of anger. Spinks heard this, and it scared the shit out of him. Apparently, they had to talk him into going to the ring to actually do the fight. He wanted to back out after Tyson punched through this wall.
Was it like adjacent wall? Was it like a shared wall or something?
That I don't know if there were a shared wall or across the hall or what the case was, but Spinks heard him fucking punch a hole through this wall and went, fuck that.
Can you imagine you're sitting there and you're ready to go, getting your head into the fight and you're about to go fight this guy? You're thinking, fuck this guy, he's going to get all nervous and shit. They're watching him. And then you see his fist come through the wall and scream something, God damn it! And you're like, oh, man.
If you watch the fight, you can see it on Spinks' face when they're, toe-to-toe, no hitting below the belt, that whole rigmarole shit. You can see it on his face that he's like, oh, fuck.
I'm going to eat the kid. That's another good quote.
To make it even worse, Tyson had custom entrance music made for this fight, which is just bassy droning with industrial noise over top. I guess it was specifically designed by a musician to just make people feel uneasy and incite fear and intimidation.
Damn, that's brilliant. I mean, that's genius.
That is definitely a fight worth checking out on YouTube. Just YouTube Tyson v Spinks, and it's a it's a 91-second fight. There's more lead up to
you
the
know
fight
what
than there is actual
let's
fucking
pause
fight.
real quick. Let me watch a little bit of it, and let's cut in some audio from it.
Okay.
All right, there's a minute 20. Ooh, that's loud. I guess the fight was only a minute and a half, so of course it's a minute and a half.
Already warning Mike about the elbows. Various opponents have complained.
And Spinks is here. He's a foot taller. He's probably got 6 inches.
Yeah, Tyson wasn't a very big guy. He was only about 5'11".
I'm taller and heavier than him, but still, he's a lot more compact.
Yeah, it's a different kind of weight too.
Oh, he's got an uppercut and dropped him. Oh, and he's down.
In serious trouble.
And he's like, I don't want to get up. He's trying to get up.
He's not going to make it. It's all
And you can see that in some fights too. That like the people Tyson's fighting, they get knocked down once, and they're
Yeah.
like, I'm just gonna stay
Yeah.
here. They're like, this is my opportunity to not have to get punched in the face anymore.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and just.
I don't think
stay
we're going to have
down.
to cut that in because it was pretty loud on my headphones, so I think it got picked up on the mic. Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see. Yeah. Listeners, definitely go
Yeah.
check out Tyson.
You just
versus Spence.
saw the entirety of the fight. That was beginning to end, right? Or listen to the entirety of the fight beginning to end. It's not
Yeah.
a long watch.
What was that link I sent you? YouTube channel Fact Fiend has a video about. I think it's titled like the time Tyson won a fight by punching a wall or some shit like that,
Oh.
and it covers the story in more detail. That's the one I sent you the link to that you didn't fucking watch.
So this brings
So what
us
do you
to a right about after that. I'm not sure when did that happen. I X out of it. That was 88. So
That was
I don't know. This
1988.
happened in 91. So 3 years after this, he did fight in between the time, and I don't really know who he fought. Maybe somebody important. I don't know. But he got arrested.
Yeah, he had several fights in
He
there.
got arrested in 1991 for the rape of 18-year-old Desiree Washington. I'm going to cite my sources real quick. I got Wikipedia, of course. The New York Times article has a just disgusting article about it. It's horrible. And then sportbible.com. Anyway. So, yeah, he was arrested in...
Let me cut in for a second, because I shit all over Kobe for being a racist
Oh,
a
okay.
week or two ago.
Bring it.
I'm going to continue to shit all over Kobe, but I'm also going to shit all over Tyson, in spite of me actually being a Mike Tyson fan.
Yes.
Rape is rape, whether you're a basketball player, a boxer, or a fucking mechanic. It doesn't matter. Rape is rape.
And it's unforgivable in my eyes, and I like Mike Tyson for for the good things he does, but he doesn't deserve forgiveness for the rape.
Yeah, Mike Tyson is one of my favorite professional athletes ever, and I like him as just a general human being nowadays too.
He's done cool
We'll
stuff
get into
since,
that
yeah, for
in
sure.
the next episode.
Yeah.
But he's still a fucking rapist.
So fuck him die in a little bit of crash. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, I'd like to see him get Tyson Ranch up and running before he dies, but yeah.
Okay. Get all the cool stuff, and then go fuck yourself.
Yeah, go ahead and finish your whole weed thing, and then you can die in a helicopter crash.
Yeah. So,
Anyways.
91, he was arrested for the rape of 18-year-old Desiree Washington in Rhode Island. Miss Black was from Rhode Island in an Indianapolis hotel room. Tyson's rape trial took place in Marion County Superior Court from January 26 to February 10th, 92. So, and this is the evidence they had, is the partial corroboration of Washington's story came via testimony from Tyson's chauffeur, Virginia Foster. She confirmed that Desiree was in a state of shock after whatever happened. Virginia was sitting out in the car waiting, and she came back. She went to the emergency room and got a physical within 24 hours after the incident, and it was consistent with her having been raped.
So this one is pretty confirmed that it wasn't just trying to get money out of an athlete or celebrity.
Right. The physical and scientific evidence shows that it's rape against his word, which he contends to this day that it was consensual. Tyson denies that he said that she misled him, thinking that she wanted to have sex and then changed her mind. He said that never happened. Tyson claims that he had misled Washington and insisted that she wanted to have sex with him. So he's saying no, she lied. She's just trying to get money, which in the end She really didn't.
And that's a theme in Tyson's career, people using him for his money.
Yeah, that's true, and that was part of their defense, which that was part of the public defense is that he grew up bad or in unfortunate circumstances, and that doesn't, in my head, that doesn't excuse rape. You just don't fucking do that at all. It doesn't matter. So, you know who defended him?
Who defended him?
Alan Big Nuts Dershowitz.
Why does that name sound familiar?
He's defending Trump. He defended O.J. Simpson. He defended a bunch of other people in a different article I have here, which I'll get to. But he's defended a bunch of rich and powerful guilty people.
I mean, if he's the guy that got O.J. off, that's definitely the guy you want fucking defending you.
So, yeah, he got O.J. off. He got Trump off. He got Leona Helmsley off. He got... was it Clinton? Right? He was Clinton's lawyer?
Bill?
Yeah. During his impeachment?
During his impeachment thing?
He's gotten everybody off. He couldn't get Tyson off. Huh.
Which just goes to show that Tyson probably definitely raped her if he couldn't get him off.
Right. I mean, he got Boji off of a murder that he committed. Yeah. Overwhelming evidence, right? He said, acting as Tyson's counsel, he filed an appeal urging error of law in the court's exclusion of evidence of the victim's past sexual conduct, the exclusion of 3 potential defense witnesses, and the lack of jury instruction on honest and reasonable mistake of fact. So he's thrown bullshit up in his appeal, saying that well, you got to consider, she shouldn't have been wearing that. She's had sex with a bunch of people. It's obviously her fault. That same old 90s bullshit. So on March 26th in 92, Tyson was sentenced to 6 years in prison along with 4 years of probation. What actually happened is he was sentenced for 3 counts of, I forget exactly what the counts are on the other paper here. But 3 counts, 10 years each, got 10 years each for them to be served concurrently, and the last 4 years of each count suspended. What ended up happening is he got 3 years for probation. 3 years for good behavior and probation.
Right. Yeah, he did 3 years in prison.
Like, he took somebody's sense of self away for his pleasure and did 3 years of a 10-year sentence of what could have been a 30-year sentence. And for somebody who didn't have any money, didn't have fucking Alan Dershowitz representing him, would have gotten the whole fucking 30 years. He got 3.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Could you imagine the prison the first day Mike Tyson walks in?
So he talks about that.
Does he?
Yeah.
Because I imagine being former heavyweight champion of the world just puts a giant target on your back of people trying to show that they got a fucking bigger dick and wanting to whip your ass or whatever. And I have to imagine it didn't go well for anybody who tried.
Well, so what happened was he got into one fight. I guess that's all it takes, though.
That's right? All he needed?
So this is a quote from him.
Just one time, I had to put somebody in prison. Somebody said something, and I just went over there and hit him. We were in lockdown for a long time, and just took something that was irritable, and I went over there and I hit him.
That's actually what he said. That's what he sounded like, too. He also revealed...
I hope Mike Tyson hears this and finds you.
Come get me, motherfucker. Come get it. Yeah, I come watch me hide. Anyway, he also revealed...
That's the thing. He's in his 50s and still scares the shit out of me.
Oh, yeah. He's 53, yeah. Oh, I wouldn't try to fight him. I would try to do everything I could do but fight him. If I fought him, he would destroy me. Don't even want to get close to that. Except I'll make fun of him on my podcast, though, for sure. He did rape somebody. So He also revealed an inmate had gotten stabbed later. He gotten stabbed that day and that they were on lockdown. He said,
"We were locked down. We couldn't go to the gym. Somebody got stabbed or something and we were locked down. I just got so upset and miserable."
So...
Oh, shit.
And so I got this article about the trial from the New York Times, and a lot of it goes into, what the facts of it. There was sentenced to 10 years in prison. Well, 3 10-year terms, suspended. I already explained all that. It says that the day of, it was likely that they knew that at the time he'd be likely to be released in 3. The judge was Patricia J. Guilford. At the time, it was widely cited as the nation's leading example of a successful date rape prosecution.
This is a female judge handing him the sentence.
Yeah.
Though?
Well, this is E.R. Shipp is the writer of this article. I have no idea if that's a male or female. Could be both.
You said the judge's name was.
Yeah,
Patricia,
the judge was a female, a woman. So she said the law of Indiana is pretty clear, and it never mentions whether a defendant or a victim are acquainted. Like that fucking matters. The judge said. In Indianapolis, rape cases like Mr. Tyson's, where no weapon was used and the victim has no serious physical injuries, a 10-year sentence is common. Like, I can't get over how fucked up that sentence, like the thinking of the 90s about this was. Like, weapon, like the entire, you don't need a physical weapon. The aggressor is the weapon. That's fucking stupid. And no serious physical injuries. That's rape. Yes, you do get serious physical injuries, but there's beyond the serious physical injuries. This woman can't live a normal life for the rest of her life. That's going to be with her for fucking ever. So,
not to excuse anything, but not getting physical injuries from Mike Tyson while being raped. That says something.
Well, that's not even true though. She got physical injuries.
Like, he could have easily killed her with his bare hands. Like, if he wanted to.
Oh, absolutely, easily. Like,
or beat not hurt her wasn't probably the right word. If he wanted to beat her up,
I mean,
or make it worse,
if he wanted to kill you and me together in a fight, just us two against him, he could do it easily. If he could do that to us, he could do that to her too.
Yes.
Like, yes, especially in his prime. He was 22 at the time.
Yes, the whole physical
Nobody in the
injury
world
thing,
can be
like,
22.
yes, you're injured by rape, but it could have been much, much worse from Mike Tyson.
It could have been worse. But that's not even true. It was. Like, the physician from the ER said, she was physically injured from this rape.
Right.
So that wasn't even, that was...
And I want to be clear that I'm not trying to defend Tyson on this.
Oh, no, I didn't get that impression at all. So the process appeal began immediately under the guidance of Alan Dershowitz, the Harvard law professor, who has aided the appeal of celebrated clients like Klaus von Bülow, I forget what that was, Jim Baker, and Leona Helmsley. You know who Jim Baker was? Remember that guy?
The name sounds familiar. I have no idea.
The televangelist who robbed from the church or something from back in the 80s. Like, Jimmy Baker and Tammy Faye, they were the TV people like back in the 80s. Yeah, we were crying, I guess.
700 Club or whatever. One of those.
Yeah, like a predecessor.
Shows.
I forgot.
Yeah.
I forget what the show was. It was like The Hour of Power or some shit like that. Something.
Because that's the way.
But it was a big old scandal.
Named. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Mr. Dershowitz rushed to the Indiana Court of Appeals this afternoon. That was the day of the sentencing, to seek Mr. Tyson's release pending the resolution of an appeal that could take at least a year. A 3-judge panel will hear the request on Friday afternoon. Spoiler alert, the appeal was accepted. Oh, I'm sorry, he was 25 at the time. He could kill us he could kill us 3 years better at 25 than I was previously saying. So the 25-year-old man gave a rambling 11-minute statement that was variously defiant, remorseful, and resigned. Tyson says, quote,
I don't come here begging for mercy, ma'am,
he said.
I can't see anything good coming from this. I'm here prepared to expect the worst. I've been crucified, humiliated worldwide.
So he's just being a fucking asshole motherfucker about this.
Have you ever heard Mike Tyson's laugh?
No, I think I have. I can't. I don't
Mike
think I'd be able to
Tyson's
identify.
laugh
I might be able to.
is the happiest sound in the world.
It's like a baby laughing.
It
I just
really
like
is.
boy.
Yeah, I fucking love Mike Tyson's laugh.
So after a history of truancy and juvenile delinquency that began when as a part of his public perception defense, and what it's coming from this writer, and it's insane that this is even it's not relevant.
This is when it
It's
stops
not
being
legally
news
relevant.
and becomes commentary.
There you go. After a history of truancy and juvenile delinquency that began when he was 8 years old, Mr. Tyson discovering boxing at age 12 while serving time at a reformatory in upstate New York under the tutelage of noted fighter Cus D'Amato. Mr. Tyson became at age 20 the youngest heavyweight boxing champion in the world.
So he started his juvenile delinquency at 8, and by 13 he had 38 arrests. So in 5 years he got arrested 38 times.
And prior to this, he had repeated episodes of aggressive sexual behavior toward women, including strangers he met in nightclubs or one widely publicized incident, a parking lot attendant. So, this is not the first time. He's a repeat sexual assaulter.
Right.
Perhaps repeat rapist. This is just the first time he really got caught. He got sentenced to 10 years concurrently, blah, 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 suspended. During his probation, Mr. Tyson must undergo psychotherapy and perform at least 100 hours of community service on behalf of young people. That is, children 18 and younger. He's got to be a role model. So, I mean, you're going to put a sexual assaulter around kids. That's unheard of today. What the fuck?
Yeah, that would never happen nowadays.
No. And this is just disgusting how this is portrayed. I mean, they're obviously ignoring bad behavior because he's a well-liked celebrity. And they're downplaying what we know now is a theme that is anti-believing anything a woman says as far as sexual violence. It's the history of America. Or American legal system. And this is just another... It's the Supreme Court justice who was charged with sexual assault at work or something. Oh, I forget her name. Anita Hill.
Has that
thing.
old
It's
bitch died
that.
yet?
Huh?
That fucking prehistoric Supreme Court justice. What the hell's her name?
Oh, Ruth Bader? I like her.
Is she dead yet?
She's cool. Nope. She's still kicking. She's got to last at least another... She's got to last at least until January. If it lasts past January, then it doesn't matter. She can just go.
You know he's going to get reelected, right? He's going to be
I know
the
there's
first
that.
president to get impeached and reelected.
There's the thought of that. But yes, so in addition, Mr. Tyson was assessed a fine of $30,000 in order to pay court costs of $113. Judge Gifford denied the prosecution request that Mr. Tyson be made to pay the more than $150,000 that the case cost the local criminal justice system. And
how the hell could you try to make somebody pay way more than what the court costs were to cover court costs?
And it was to be made a very, very strong point. Naughty, sir. You have to pay. We want you to pay $150,000, which is way less than you make. You won't even notice it. But the courts decided, no, we're going to make him pay even less for his rape conviction. That means legally he is a rapist. He's labeled a rapist. Legally. Everywhere. That's not going away.
I'm pretty sure he was labeled a rapist as soon as he was convicted, so... And the way the news works in this country, you're labeled a racist, I keep saying racist. You're labeled a rapist as soon as somebody says that you're a rapist. Especially when you're a celebrity.
So there's that. There is that, but that's not what happened. That's not what's happening here. He not only has the evidence that he was a rapist, legally he's a rapist, and still they're trying to lessen the punishment.
Why the fuck do you use paper? It is so goddamn loud.
I like paper. It's tactile.
You hate trees. You like global warming. You want to kill fucking polar bears.
You know what? The only good polar bear is a skinny polar bear. Those fat fuckers.
I want a polar bear rug. So fucking bad. Even a grizzly bear rug.
I can see you in that.
I want a fireplace to put it in front of, too.
Like a big, 7-foot fireplace?
Yeah.
Width and height? Yeah.
Fucking, Batman-style fireplace.
Yeah. I could see that for your place.
Anyways, back to raping.
So, Barbara J. Trathen, one of the prosecutors in the case, said that Miss Washington was subdued and disappointed that Mr. Tyson did not seem adequately sorry for his crime. She's imprisoned herself emotionally for the rest of her life, Mrs. Tratham said. And frankly, she is concerned about that now he's going to jail. What's the reaction going to be towards her? There are so many competing fears and concerns. This child has no sense of happiness or elation. It'll take months just to get back to normal. And that's what she's trying to do. Which it may never, ever happen. Also, she says that she's concerned about the possible retaliation by many people who strongly condemned her for this. So, I mean, she was getting threats of violence against her because she was pursuing this rape charge against Tyson, this man that raped her. So, of course, the defense for him was that he's a boxer. He's in a male-dominated world. Boys will be boys. Of course, this is going to happen. It's not as bad as other things. That kind of bullshit. So, a quote from Mrs. Washington herself. It says, she wrote to the court. She said, "In the place of what has been me for 18 years now is a cold and empty feeling," she wrote. "I am not able to comment on what my future will be. I can only say that each day after being raped has been a struggle to learn to trust again, to smile the way I did, and to find Desiree Lynn Washington, who was stolen from me for those who loved me on July 19th, 1991. Mr. Tyson defended himself by saying things like, "When I came to Indiana, my conduct was a little crass, but I didn't rape anybody." And he was just basically defiant about the whole thing, but he apologized.
Wait, who said that?
Tyson did. So what he said was,
"When I came to Indiana, my conduct was kind of crass."
That's what I wanted.
Yeah. My bad. I forgot.
Did you ever see his first fight after prison?
No. I remember him. No. I know I did. I know I have. But I remember he was like prison built on top of
Peter
being built.
McNeely. Tyson was already big before prison. He just worked out for those 3 years, I'm pretty sure. He came out of prison fucking jacked.
Yes, and angry.
Fought this Peter McNeely guy. Oh, yeah. And Peter McNeely ran his mouth so much in the lead up to this. And he had to know that he was going to get fucking destroyed. But he's like, "I'm going to dedicate this fight to these people, and I'm going to whip his ass." And what? Fucking, that did not go well for him. The lineup, when they touch gloves at the beginning of the fight, McNeely's all rocking back and forth, staying warm and everything. Tyson is fucking stone cold still.
Mm-hmm.
And his eyes are just back and forth. He looks like a fucking animal just ready to attack. It is the most intimidating Tyson ever.
And biologically speaking, he was an animal ready to attack.
Yeah, Tyson. Post-prison Tyson. That was like peak performance Tyson.
And I remember all the sportscasters and stuff. I used to watch boxing a whole lot. And I remember the sportscasters behind before all those fights were like, this guy has been in prison for the last 3 years. All he's been doing is working out. He is going to murder this man. We are going to see a live homicide on TV tonight. And yeah. Like everybody fucking knew.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm pretty sure. I want to say that ended in the first round too. I'm not positive. It might have made it to the second round, but I'm pretty sure that one ended in the first round.
I remember everybody who ordered pay-per-view for Tyson fights, like everybody wanted to and stuff, and everybody did, but everybody who did were always disappointed because they didn't last long.
I remember my dad used to get together and order pay-per-views with his buddies and watch these fights back in like the early mid-90s. And it got to the point where they just quit fucking doing it.
Because they last.
You spend all that money on a pay-per-view, and the fight's over in fucking minutes.
Yeah,
it takes longer to introduce the fighters than the fucking fight lasted.
I'm happy to watch them fight and stuff. You're right, but geez, come on, man! I want to see a fight, not a murder.
You could go back and watch Tyson's entire career in a couple hours.
Yeah, I mean, and do you know how much training that took to do that, though? I mean. But between all those fights, just train. Like, well, train, rape. Like,
he says that he was hypnotized for success or some shit like that too, by Customato.
Like actually hypnotized. Like he went to a hypnotist type of thing.
I don't know if he went to a hypnotist or one came to him, but yeah. Tyson says that he was hypnotized for success or aggression or whatever the fuck it was.
I'm not.
And if that's the case, I fucking full-heartedly believe in hypnotism now. Because it worked for him.
Something did. I mean, could be that he's just genetically predisposed and the hypnotism was psychosomatic. Either way,
you can look at him and tell that he was a fucking genetic perfection specimen. Like,
yeah.
He was a teenager, built like a brick shithouse.
Yes. Like one of those pit bulls on steroids. Yeah.
Tyson versus Holyfield. What do you remember from that one?
I actually bought that one. You mean his last one?
His last one? Holyfield wasn't his last fight.
Wasn't it? So I bought the Holyfield fight, like the Holyfield fight. Is that what you're talking about?
The Tyson Holyfield fight?
Yeah.
What do you remember from that fight?
Tyson got a little more protein than we all expected. By that I mean Tyson bent down and sucked his dick.
He said, "I just want to slap your knob."
No.
Oh, I can't wait to see Tyson cave your face in.
I know, it'll be so fun. I reached out to him on Twitter. He didn't respond.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, no, he bit his ear.
Who the fuck is this asshole?
He bit the top of his ear. Well, actually, when they did it, they stopped the fight once because I think he was headbutting. He was either headbutting or punching too low or something, which is easy for him. Holyfield is like 6'4" or something. He's 5'11". That was an easy thing for him to do. But yeah, then they stopped it the second time and stopped it for good there. But I remember in that one of his more favorite quotes was there. From that fight was, "I'm going to eat your children." Right?
Yeah, a lot of people remember Tyson biting Holyfield's ear off.
Well,
he did not bite it off. He just bit it.
Well,
but for some reason, a lot of people remember, Mandela effect, remember him taking a chunk out of his ear and spitting it out. And that never fucking happened. He just bit his ear.
Yeah, no. I remember him biting it and it flopping down. The top flopped down.
Yeah. Yeah, it's still connected. He didn't bite it off. He just bit it.
Hard.
Hard as fuck.
Enough that it would have been nothing.
And you got to remember, he had a mouthpiece in when he bit that shit too.
Oh, I didn't. Oh, so that hurt.
So he's really only biting with his bottom teeth.
Oh, fucking Captain and the Doctor and the Captain style. Maybe it's the same guy. Do you remember that the only evidence against him, that DNA evidence, was that the bottom layer of teeth?
Oh, because he had dentures or some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember that now.
It's the same guy that bit Holyfield.
Yeah.
We just uncovered another conspiracy.
So, leading up to Tyson's retirement here, February 22nd, 2003. Keep in mind he started fighting in 1985 professionally. So in 2003, Tyson beat fringe contender Clifford Etienne, Etienne,
Etienne.
49 seconds into round one.
Yeah.
This was Tyson's last victory as a professional in the ring. On July 30th, 2004, Tyson had a match against Danny Williams. Tyson dominated the opening 2 rounds. The third round was pretty even, with Williams getting in some clean blows, also some illegal ones from Williams. He was penalized for those, though. In the 4th round, Tyson was unexpectedly knocked out.
I remember
This
reading
was
about that
Tyson's
in the news.
5th career defeat. Yeah. After the fight, it was revealed that Tyson was trying to fight with one leg, having torn a ligament in his other knee in the first round. He underwent surgery for the ligament 4 days after the fight. His manager, Shelley Finkel, claimed that Tyson was unable to throw meaningful right-handed punches due to the knee injury.
There's a...
So, had
boxing
he
is
not
leg work,
torn
too.
that ligament in his knee, that might have gone a different way, that fight.
Yeah.
On June the 11th, 2005, Tyson faced Kevin McBride. Tyson quit before the start of the 7th round. After the bout, Tyson said, quote, "I don't think I have it anymore."
Yeah. You gotta know.
Are you done? Are you done doing Tyson voice?
Oh, I'm sorry. What did he say?
Tyson said, quote, "I don't think I have it anymore."
I don't think I have it anymore.
I am absolutely not done doing Tyson voices. I'm going to go in my grave doing Tyson voices.
I'm going to die doing this.
I got the ability to stay in shape, but I don't got the fighting guts anymore.
I got the ability to stay in shape, but I don't got the fighting gut anymore.
He went on to
What
say,
with me?
quote, "I'm just sorry I let everybody down.
I'm so sorry I let everybody down, people. I'm so sorry.
I just don't have it in my heart anymore."
I just don't have it in my heart anymore, people. I'm so sorry.
I'm just fighting to take care of my bills, basically.
I'm just fighting to take care of my bills. My precious tigers and Don King, that hair cost a lot of money.
Yeah, at this point, Tyson was in pretty fucking serious financial trouble.
Yeah, he had...
Don King and the rest of his team had fucking robbed him blind.
Yeah. He had no idea. He was just... They said, go fight, you'll be rich, and that's all the instruction, that's all he needed. But that's
In
him.
the mid-90s, he was the highest paid athlete on the planet.
That's kind of him as a commodity, too, though. Once you're no longer a commodity, that value goes down very, very quickly. If you don't, plan it right, which a lot of them do. Some of them do. A lot of them don't. Especially boxers. It's really
Tyson
prevalent in
spent
boxers
a
because...
lot of fucking money.
Yeah. If you're a successful
Well,
boxer...
it's really prevalent with people who grew up with nothing, too.
That, too.
If you grew up with nothing and then suddenly have hundreds of millions of dollars...
You're not going to think of it right.
He didn't have any family he could trust. I mean...
And...
He this wasn't all fucking Don King's fault and the rest of his team, too. Tyson spent a lot of money on dumb shit.
Yeah.
He had fucking tigers and houses all over the fucking place and
I got a tiger in
cars
Ohio.
and yeah, he had 3 fucking Bengal tigers.
Yeah. But the thing is about boxing too, and boxers in general, is if you are successful, that means that you've been through a lot of fights and you've been hit in the head a lot. And if you get hit in the head by another boxer, that's a lot of damage. A lot of the times, you are necessarily stupid at the end of your career. That's just what happens to all of them. So you're very easy to be taken advantage of. I mean, if Muhammad Ali hadn't been a boxer, he probably wouldn't have contracted Parkinson's. It's hypothetical.
Yeah.
That nobody knows, but it definitely exacerbated it.
Tyson lucked out because he won so many fights so quickly that he didn't get hit in the head near as much as a lot of other boxers did.
Yeah. And I mean, and he was just
He
so
still got
quick too.
stopped a couple times, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he didn't
dodged a lot.
take the beating that a lot of other boxers did.
No.
I remember watching that last fight. Tyson McBride. I watched that one live. And the whole time I'm like, damn, Tyson just doesn't fucking look right. Like, he's not the Tyson that I remember.
I thought you were saying Ali's last one. I thought you said you watched that live. Like, wait, what? No. All right. Yeah, Tyson's last fight. Yeah, I don't think I watched.
Yeah, Tyson's last fight in 05. I remember watching that one.
At that time, no, I hadn't watched it. I'd stopped watching boxing, so.
I remember watching that fight in 05 live, and Tyson's little post-bout interview thing. I remember it just took the wind out of me. Like, I knew that
out of you,
Tyson was closing in the end of his career. Yeah, I was a fucking Tyson fan back in the day.
Who wasn't? Yeah,
but yeah, I remember that post-fight interview just kind of took the wind out of me.
Yeah,
it's sad seeing fighters come to the end of their career. Tyson was smart enough to get the fuck out before he ruined his legacy.
Jordan with baseball, Ali with his Parkinson's, Tyson's with that. What's his name? Who's now the woman?
George Foreman with his grills.
Yeah. What's her name? God damn. Fuck, I can't think of his name. Not Mark Spitz. He became a woman. The Olympic athlete.
Oh, Bruce Jenner.
Bruce Jenner. Who's living her best life, I guess.
Fighter, but sure.
Anyway.
No, I'm talking fighters, because fighters have it rough. They get their fucking brain rattled too much.
Yeah.
Like the end of Chuck Liddell's career. Chuck Liddell's still trying to fight every once in a while, I guess, but I was a big Chuck Liddell fan back in the day, and
like
his last few fights are just sad to watch.
Yeah. I mean, so MMA is slightly different. You don't get hit in the head as much, and they're not necessarily as forceful. You still do. I mean, I wouldn't want to fight one, and it'd be easy to knock you out. But MMA uses the body in different techniques more than just striking to the face. A lot more. A lot of it's holds and traps and shit. So
it seems like a lot of those guys, once they get knocked out once, that's the beginning of the end. Once you get knocked out once, it seems like it's easier to do it again and again and again.
I noticed that. Yeah, maybe. Because, I mean, knockouts don't happen a whole lot. I mean, it happens a lot, actually. And they're fun to watch, but I don't know. It's not as prevalent as boxing. It's not punching to the face. It's trying to break their arm.
See, and that's the difference between boxing and MMA, too, is boxing, you have to beat somebody so hard that they can't get up for 10 seconds. Where MMA, you knock somebody down, you can jump on them and finish it right then and there.
Right, yeah.
They don't get the option to stand back up to 3 times in one round.
Not saying it's not fucking difficult.
Well, stand back up twice. You can get knocked down 3 times in a round and lose a boxing match.
I mean, that's still extremely hard to do. I mean, it's a tough sport anyway. But yes, in MMA, it's...
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
You said you used to box, right?
I did. Yeah. Right after college for a couple years.
Any good?
No. Well, I mean, I beat a couple people. I never did professionally, or even I never had a real amateur fight either. I just sparred a lot of people, and I got my ass kicked a whole lot.
Yeah.
But I beat some ass too. But I mostly got my ass kicked. My trainer's name was Zane.
Yeah, I don't like.
He was built like Butterbean, fought just like him, beat my ass all the time.
Butterbean was another hard hitting motherfucker too.
He has a podcast too. I've never heard it.
Butterbean does?
Yeah.
Because Tyson has a podcast.
Yeah.
I've listened to Tyson's several times. It's pretty good.
Yeah. I haven't. I should.
His
I will for the next show.
The voice does not match his face at all.
No.
His co-host sounds like this goofy ass stoner dude, and he's like an ex-NFL athlete, like big old jock. But he just doesn't. The voice doesn't match the face.
Oh, that's funny. So 2 of them. I guess they did it on purpose, probably.
With what?
The voice not matching the face. Mike Tyson met him. He's like,
Yeah.
You
'cause
sound
Tyson too.
funny too. You want to do a podcast with me?
Yeah, the other dude's like, he's super bassy and stoner sounding. He doesn't sound like a professional athlete.
So, yeah. That's what I got on him.
Yeah, I think that better wraps up this episode. Yeah, I covered everything in my notes here.
All right. Yep, me too. Next on Higher Minds Podcast.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about what Tyson got into post-fighting career on the next episode.
Yes.
I think I want to dive into how he spent some of his millions, too. We dabbled on that for just a second this episode.
Yeah.
I want to point out some of the outrageous things that he fucking bought
All right.
when he was on top of the world.
I don't remember that. Sure. Sounds fun. Did you know that he actually cut off his own testicles after he stopped boxing? True story. He no longer has testicles.
Being that he has a young daughter, I'm highly doubting that, but okay.
He stole her. He went up to somebody and said,
She's mine now.
just ran off.
And who's going to fucking argue? Okay, you go with Mr. Tyson now.
Yep. That's your new daddy.
He had a daughter that died in 2009, I think it was, too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
We'll get into that on the next one, too.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing us down, Scott, toward the end of the show. Ba-doom-ba.
Yeah. Dead kids.
Jesus. All right, with that, okay. Wait, no more. Still have t-shirts. I don't know. Right, do say something. T-shirts. Where can they do that?
We can be found at highermindspodcast.com.
HigherMindsPodcast.com.
We're on Facebook.
You can Higher Minds Podcast on Facebook. Good stuff. I listen to it all the time.
We're on Instagram.
We're on Instagram. I love Instagram. Higher Minds Podcast.
Twitter.
On Twitter. We talked on Twitter. They got hold of me. I said, no, I'm going to be an asshole and not talk back to them. But I talked to them. I love them. Those guys are awesome. Darby and Scott. Oh, I love them.
And you can reach us direct at highermindspodcast@gmail.com.
Remember that. Tell your friends. HigherMindsPodcast@gmail.com. Your grandma. She loves writing letters.
I really hope Tyson hears this.
Yeah.
Next week, it'll just be the Higher Minds Podcast with Scott Shackelford. No Papa Darby.
They'll just like hold up a picture or, post a picture of me in my hospital bed. I'll be there in spirit.
With your face caved in.
That motherfucker from Higher Minds Podcast. I went to punch him. I got so mad. I was so miserable. I just punched him. I punched him like he was a prison bitch.
I don't know how you're doing that with a straight face.
I'm
thoroughly
not.
impressed, to be honest. You're not fucking losing it in between, though. Like, there's no way in hell I could fucking do that. Because I considered doing the quotes in Tyson's voice, and then you started doing them anyways. I'm like, fuck it, you can do it.
I'll take it. One for the team.
Until you get punched in the face.
So, yeah. That's been the first episode of our look at Mike Tyson.
Yes, it has been.
We'll be back next week with more.
Yes, we will be. Deuces.
What are our names?
I'm Papa Darby. That's Scott.
I'm Scott.
Deuces.
Ooh, together we're the Wild Stallions / Higher Minds Podcast.
The Wild Stallions of Hired Minds Podcast. With special guest
Mike Tyson. Okay.
Deuces, everybody.
Deuces.
Deuces.